Oh, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. I'm gonna give you all time to come in today. As you see, we're running really, really late, and I really apologize. Was trying to get a lot of things done and could not get them done. Did not get them done by 12 o'clock, but I had to get them done before I started check-in. So please forgive me today. Let me give you all time to come in as you all are coming in. Let me talk to those people who will not be watching this check-in live. If you're not watching this check-in live, then please let you know that you can fast forward to whatever part is meaningful for you. In about 20 minutes, we'll get into the word and into the prayer, and you have more than welcome to get into that part of the live. Um, Today, I just want to give you an encouraging word during the portion where we're doing our word. Um, but before we get into that, we're going to have a question of the day. And before we have our question of the day, we're going to just going to say hello and give greetings. And before we do our greetings and our hellos, let me encourage you to do what I'm about to do right now. And that is take a moment to like and to share. That's what I'm doing, in fact, right now. And so as you all are coming in, I'm going to be taking time to like and to share. And as you're gathering, come into the comments and say hello. And we're going to get into our check in. And there I am. I'm liking this live and I am sharing. If you have not shared, all right, all right, all right. I want to remind you that we have worship this Sunday at 9 right here at Fellowship of Love Church. We're in person at 349 Kenwood Road, Fayetteville, Georgia. That's where our church is. For those of you who are in the area, we'd love to see you at 9 a.m. We also will be virtual this Sunday. I want to give an update on our worship leader. Many of you know our worship leader, Jason Sylvain. His mother passed this past Monday, I believe. This past Monday. But her funeral, there's been an adjustment to the funeral date and the place. The funeral will be next Tuesday, so we will not be having check-in next Tuesday. I don't think I need to explain that. I'm going to be touching and agreeing and present with JJ during the transition and the homegoing of his mother. So there will be no check-in next Tuesday at 12. Tuesday at noon at 12 o'clock at a church called Fellowship of Faith. Isn't it ironic? JJ's mom went to Fellowship of Faith. JJ went to Fellowship of Love. Her funeral is going to be at her church, which is Fellowship of Faith, at Tuesday at noon. Next Tuesday at noon, if you're available, we're going to ask and we're going to pray that you join us. It will be streamed. It may be streamed from our StreamYard and from our page for any Fellowship of Love members who want to just support JJ, even virtually, by being a part of the worship experience. However, we're going to see if Fellowship of Faith has all the necessary equipment to stream, then we'll then put us on to the stream. And maybe if it's on Facebook or YouTube, we'll share it on ours. But we will have more news about that forthcoming. But next Tuesday at noon, we will not have check-in. We will be in solidarity with our worship leader who is burying his mother. For the rest of you, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Evelyn Ellis. It's good to see you today, and George Green is in here today, and so good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, Yolanda Davidson. It's good to see you today, and Michelle Gordon from Augusta. It's always a pleasure, and we're blessed to see you. Gloria Martin, it's good to see you today. And Karen Valdez, it's always good to see you. Dina Self, it's good to see you as well. Dina's put the information for JJ's mother, so I'll hold this up there. And while I'm holding this up there, good afternoon, Ebony Dixon Collins from YouTube. It's great to see you and great to have you today. Let's go ahead and get into our question of the day. Here's our question of the day. Here's our question of the day. Here's what I want to know. We're in the month of March. That means we're 3 months into the. We are 3 months into our new year 2023, and so for this, as we enter into this new year, Dion, good to see you today. Happy Friday's Eve to you as well. Here's the question of the day as we think about being in March. That means we're in the first quarter, at the end of the first quarter of the year. Here's a good time to ask ourselves this question. What New Year's resolution do you need to pick back up? What New Year's resolution do you need to pick back up? What did you say you were going to do at the beginning of the year that now that it's March, the odds say, the statistics say that we've already started slipping? For those of us who've made our New Year's resolutions, now is the time where we start seeing slippage. And so that's my question of the day today. As you reflect on your new year, what may be a goal that you set that you might be slipping on? What may be a resolution that you made that you might need to get back on track on? What New Year's resolution or resolutions, plural, do you need to pick back up? Confession is good for the soul, but it's bad for the reputation. But because we're family and we love each other, we know we would never judge each other. And it always feels good to find community. It feels good to know that, yes, we might be messing up, but we're not messing up by ourselves. And so the question of the day is, what New Year's resolution do you need to pick back up? Gloria Martin, thank you so much. I have your prayer request. Gloria Martin, I have your prayer request. George Green, thank you so much for having you. I have your prayer request. What New Year's resolution do you need to pick back up? That's what our question of the day is. Go ahead and think about it and go ahead and tell me the truth today. Michelle Gordon, thank you so much. I have your prayer request as well. While we're answering our question of the day, if you have any prayer requests today and right now is a good time to let them know. Thank you so much, Yolanda Davidson. I want to I thank you for your prayer requests, and I have them. Tashawn, it's good to see you out of Grand Prairie, Texas. My cousin, Natalie Walker Jackson, she says, good afternoon, folk, and it's good afternoon to you. Deacon Patricia Burton, it's good to see you, and thank you for asking yesterday. How did yesterday go? I'm glad you all asked. I don't know. You all, I'm so tired of this. I don't know how it went. We had court almost for 30, about 2, maybe 3 hours almost, maybe over 3 hours of court, only for the judge to tell us that he was going to go back into his chambers and he was going to email us his verdict. So I'm sure I'll find out between now and Friday. He said before the weekend, so I'm looking forward to this Friday to know what exactly the judge has ruled. Keep me in prayer. That was a little bit deflating for me. That was a little bit deflating. I'm tired. And so for yet the second time, I thought when we went to court in October, I would get the news, and whatever the case may be, win, lose, or draw, good, bad, or indifferent, it would be over. I walked into court yesterday thinking that whatever the news was, good, bad, or indifferent, win, lose, or draw, it would be over, only to find out that the judge is going to wait and email us a ruling. So we'll see, you all. I'm trying to keep my spirits up, but I'm a little tired. But we're moving on, and we are keeping on. Okay. Thank you, Patricia Burton, for your prayer request. I have Annie Murphy. And I have the Sylvain family. A couple more people of you have come in. Good to see you, Gerard Johnson. Good to see you, Yolanda Ellis Taylor. Great to have each and every one of you. The question we're asking is, if you made any New Year's resolutions, and I see some of you have not, and that's fine. I'm going to give to those answers in a minute. Are there any New Year's resolutions you need to pick back up? I do have one. I have started to slip. You all have not done my working out like I need to, like I used to. I know I'm wrong for doing this. I shouldn't do this, but I'm about to put these little gummy bears, these little gummies in my mouth anyway. There's a little, these are little Marvel superhero fruit snacks. I know good and well I shouldn't be in this check-in eating these little fruit snacks. But they're so good. And they were just sitting here tempting me, you all. And I couldn't say no. They won't sell it at Publix the other day. And I had to get them. And so here we go. Thank you so much, Yolanda Ellis Taylor. I'm putting your name down as you sit and wait for your auditor. Now that I see you say your prayer list is long, that's fine. Okay, let's go into our question of the day. The question of the day is simply, what New Year's resolution or do you need to pick back up? I already started with mine, the New Year's resolution that I needed to pick back up. I need to get back more consistent in my 5 a.m. workouts. I've not been getting up and getting to the gym at 5 a.m. It's really, really important to the productivity in my day. And so I'm asking that you keep me in prayer. I'm going to get back into my 5 a.m. workouts. Michelle Gordon chimes in when I asked, what did New Year's resolution you need to pick back up? She says, I do not make New Year's resolutions, and that's fine. I know many people who do not make New Year's resolutions. But for those of us who did, I'm asking you to think about them, look into them. Is enough. This is a great answer here. Evelyn Ellis says, I didn't make one New Year's resolution because working on the things we agreed to in our check-in classes is enough. Fair enough. That's fair enough. We are often working on things in our check-in classes. So that's fair enough that you didn't make any New Year's resolutions. Here I go, y'all. I'm eating these fruit snacks, and I know I shouldn't be. Karen Valdez says, I didn't make any. She didn't make any resolutions either. George Green says, traveling and spending time with my children and grandchildren and more one-on-one time with God. I like it. Pick it back up, George. It's always a good day. It's always a good time to pick back up traveling, spending time with our loved ones, in this case, your children and grandchildren, and more one-on-one time with God. I love it. I love it. I love it. I believe that is okay. Trisha Burton says, I didn't make a New Year's resolution, but I did give up candy for Lent. Well, I hope that's going well for you. I hope that's going well. And thank you so much for answering our question. Yolanda Ellis said, I have you in your prayer list. Natalie, thank you so much. I am writing your prayer list down right now. Once we get ready for this prayer list, we're going to get into the word for the day. My mama just asked you all, are the fruit snacks organic? We have a running organic conversation in my family because my two sisters, Brittany and Bonica, are very big on organic food, Brittany particularly. And I always joke with them whenever they're not eating organic food about the organic food that is it organic. So sometimes they'll eat things like pizza, and I'm like, "Well, is that organic pizza?" Or if they go, get hamburgers or chicken, I always joke with them to see if it's organic. Mama, thank you so much. I have your prayer list as well. Natalie, I have your prayer list as well. Actually, I have it, but I am writing it as we speak. The fruit snacks are not organic. We're answering this question, Mama. What New Year's resolution or resolutions do you need to pick back up? Statistics say that usually around now, we start slipping and sliding on our New Year's goals. So I'm asking, checking in um, on each and every one of us to see how we're doing on our New Year's resolutions. I confess and I admit it that I've begun slipping on my 5 a.m. workout. So you all be in prayer that I can get that back together and get back to the discipline that is needed for greatness in our lives. And Natalie, thank you so much. I do have your prayer list. My mom is you in good company, Mama, because most people, it seems like on our check-in today, did not make any New Year's resolutions. But that's all right, you all. I know we have goals and we have things, and so let's go ahead and get into our word today. Let's go ahead and get into our word today. Since I'm the only person who made resolutions and I'm slipping, Ashanti Pushia, is always great to see you, great to have you, and glad you could check in with us. Today, in our check in, we are talking simply about this. Well, before we do that, let me do this as a transition into our check in. Let me go ahead and ask you to share your live if you've not shared. If you're on Facebook, it's easy. Share it onto your page and welcome people. I'm pushing, I'm charging, I'm challenging us to keep going wherever we are and whatever we are doing. So go ahead and like and share this live. While you are liking and sharing this live, Tyrone Johnson, I'm praying, I'm putting you and your 2 children on our prayer list. Tyrone Johnson, I'm putting you and your 2 children on our prayer list. And we thank you for checking in with us. Natalie Walker Jackson answers our question of the day as well. We have another person who did not make any resolutions, but I was focused on working out and making sure our family finances are in order. I love that. Those are great goals. Those are great goals. Today, I want to come from my book again, and I want to challenge us. I guess I thought I put it in. This is what I want to challenge us today. Keep going. That's our word for today. Keep going. It's a chapter number 21 in my book. Love greater, think deeper, live greater, think deeper, love better. Spiritual reflections for the heart, the mind, and the soul. But before I go there, I see that Ashanti has asked for prayer. And I have your prayer request, Ashanti. Thank you so much. Keep going. Keep going. This chapter actually plays off of a second chapter where I talked about going. I talked about beginning a task. I talked about starting a work. I talked about initiating an action. And what I did say in the previous chapter is I encouraged us to resist the temptation to wait that so often keeps us from moving closer to our destiny. I challenged us that we ought to resist the temptation to wait to do the next thing. I want to resist the temptation to wait to achieve the next goal. I want to resist the temptation to wait to start eating right. I want to resist the temptation to wait to join the ministry or join the church. I want to resist the temptation to wait to begin the next task. Because it is that resistance, that it is that a proclivity to wait that can often keep us from the next step on our journey and to making it into our destiny. However, it would be naive for us to think that all we have to do is start in order to reach the finish line. Life, our goals, our dreams, our destiny is more than just about starting. It's more than just about going. As we know, the first step is the most important step, but life, our goals, our dreams, and our destiny is much more than just about the first step. The first step is indeed often the easiest step, but it's not always the only step that is necessary. I was reminded of this myself the other day while reading a tweet that said, most overnight successes took 20 years to get here. In other words, when we see a person achieving fame or a company saturating the market, there are usually years, Evelyn Ellis, of struggle. There are usually years, Ashanti, of strife. There are usually years, Natalie, of strain that precede their visible and their public accomplishment. This tweet reminded us, listen, most successes that we think are overnight successes are usually 20 years in the making. Consider the story of Christianity, if you will. Christianity, one of the largest religions in the world. When Christianity began, it was simply a grassroots, marginalized religion filled with poor, illiterate, and persecuted people. Christianity did not begin with big cathedrals. Christianity did not begin as a worldwide religion. Christianity began, it was really, beloved, a knockoff of Judaism initiated by a plebeian poor carpenter who was born and raised in the ghetto and, listen to this, and died on death row. That's right. Christianity spurned and sprung from a poor carpenter who was born in the ghetto and died in capital punishment. A poor carpenter who was a refugee at 2 years old and died in the criminal justice system. Christianity did not have a big beginning. It did not have an auspicious beginning. It was not a large religion. For almost 3 centuries, emperors took turns attempting to wipe out for years, beloved. Let me back up. Christians were seen as a weird, marginalized group of people. Christians were seen as a weird, marginalized group of people with strange practices and very little status in the world. In fact, that's why Paul said at one point, I am not ashamed of the gospel. Because Christians were a small group of people who were talked about, who were degraded, who were demeaned, who were looked at as weird, who were looked at as quirky and quacky. Christians did not have an auspicious beginning. For almost 3 centuries, emperors took turns attempting to wipe the religion and its inheritance off the face of the map. For 3 centuries, Christians were under attack over and over again against leaders of empires. Then, in a twist of fate that changed the landscape of religious history in the world, Constantine in the 4th century declares himself a Christian. And when Constantine declares himself a Christian, he makes Christian the official religion of the largest empire of that era. All of a sudden, once a huge dictatorial colonizing empire took over and claimed Christianity and made Christianity the religion of the government, all of a sudden now it becomes fashionable to be Christian. In some places, it becomes the thing to do, to be Christian. Why? Because one of the most powerful empires in the world has declared itself Christian and made Christianity the religion of the state. The truth of the matter is, however, that all of a sudden was really 300 years in the making. Now today, some 1700 years later, Christianity is one of the largest religions on the face of the earth. It's easy here to think that Jesus came in and in one swipe changed everything. It's easy to think that Christianity just came on the scene and it began to flood the world. However, have you ever thought about that first 300 years? Think about this. We live in a country that is not yet even 250 years old. All that has happened in the United States, and it has not even been 300 years. Think of all the things that have happened during the 250-year reign and rule of the United States. Native Americans have been displaced. Wars have been fought. Africans have been captured. Africans have been enslaved. Africans have been dislocated from their land. And enslaved Africans have been emancipated, all in less than 300 years. Then, after the emancipation, the same country that chained Black people for over a century ago has now had an African-American president to serve 2 terms as the leader of this country. All of this has happened in less than 300 years. I'm trying to press, I'm trying to point out, and I'm trying to prove to you that 300 years is a long time. In both the case of Christianity and the case of America, there were decades, if not centuries, of struggle, of strain, and of strife before change came. I'm trying to help somebody today, because what I want to suggest today is such is the case in our lives. Though it sounds good for breakthrough to come in a blink of an eye, it usually never does. Though it sounds good for miracles just to pop up and pop out in our lives, and in the blink of an eye, problems get solutions, failures become successes, sadness becomes gladness, aches become amens, the truth of the matter is that life does not afford us this magical reality often. Truth is, most great companies take years, decades to become great companies. Most great institutions take months, years, and decades to become great institutions. And most great people take time, went through tough times, go through tumultuous times when they think they will never make it. Moreover, these times are not just fleeting moments. They're not just bad weekends. They're not just bad days. Often we struggle sometimes for weeks. Sometimes we struggle for months. Sometimes we struggle for even years, wishing our dreams would come true, wishing our goals would be achieved, wishing our miracles would be manifest, wishing our breakthroughs would happen. Beloved, often it is the case that it is weeks, months, and years of situations that are not to our liking, moments that are not to our, that are not pleasing to us. But on these times, this is why we so often combine the wisdom of the writer in Ecclesiastes with the New Testament imperative to say, the race is not given to the swift, nor the battle to the strong, but to the one who endures to the end. I want to help someone today because the Bible is prescient and it is prominent. The Bible is wise when it tells us the race is not given to the strong or to the swift, but to the ones who endure to the end. And that's what I've come to tell someone today. I've come to talk to someone who may have thought about throwing in the towel. I've come to talk to someone who is sick and tired of being sick and tired. I've come to talk to someone who is exhausted, who is deflated, who feels defeated. I've come to tell you that the race is not always given to the strong. The race is not always given to the swift, but sometimes all we have to do, all we can do, all we're able to do is just hold on. Hold on for another hour. Hold on for another day. Hold on for another season. Hold on for another week. I'm telling someone, the Bible says that the race is not given to the strong or to the swift, but those who can just keep their head up above water, those who can just keep breathing in and keep breathing out, those who can just keep taking the next step after step after step. Beloved, your success will not be just about what you can do. It will also be about what you can go through. Can I say that again? Stop, rewind, play. I've come to tell someone today that your success will not just be about what you can do. It will also be about what you can go through. You might have to go through the fire. You might have to go through the rain. You might have to go through the fire. You might have to go through the mountains. You might have to go through some turmoil. You might have to go through some travail. You might have to go through some tribulations. Your victory, beloved, will not just be about the riches you receive. It will be about the poverty you can endure. Your victory will not just be about the mountains you can achieve. It will be about the valleys you have to tread. I'm trying to help somebody today. Once you decide to start on the road to success, once you decide to start on the path to progress, once you decide to start on the way to your truth, once you decide to start on the way to your destiny, I've come to tell someone today that you're going to have to keep going. You're going to have to keep pushing. You're going to have to keep moving. Once you decide to start, then you must dedicate yourself to the suffering and to enduring whatever challenges lay on your path through up to your destiny. Beloved, once you decide to go, your triumph will be determined by your ability to keep going. Once you take the first step, your victory will come by your ability to keep on stepping through the fire, through the rain, through the muck, through the mire, through hard times, through friends that turn their back on you, through lonely times, through dark times. You've not just got to go, you've got to keep going. You've got to keep moving. You've got to keep stepping. You've got to keep walking. You've got to keep climbing. You've got to keep struggling. You've got to keep striving. You've got to keep fighting. You've got to keep praying. You've got to keep pushing. I'm just talking to somebody today who is ready to give up and to give in. So even, beloved, as you are in the midst of an undesirable circumstance, an unwanted situation, an unwelcoming reality, I've come to tell someone today to stay with it, to stay on it, and to stay at it. That's all I've got today is those three words that I want you to walk into the tomorrow of your life with. You've heard me say it before, but can I say it again? Stay with it, stay on it, and stay at it. The enemy knows that you're right at the finish line. The enemy knows that it gets darkest right before dawn. And so that's all I've come to tell somebody. Stay at it, stay on it, and stay with it. Can I push somebody and encourage somebody who might be giving up on a relationship that needs more prayer, that needs more counseling, that needs more effort? Stay with it, stay at it, and stay on it. That's all I've come to tell somebody is that we have a God who will stay by our side, but we have got to stay with it. We have got to stay on it, and we have got to stay at it. If you've decided that you ought to be a different way, but you get frustrated about the ups and the downs of your weight and the scale, here's what I've come to tell you. Stay with it, stay at it, and stay on it. If you're somebody who is struggling with your finances and it can't seem to get right, you keep setting budgets and you keep breaking budgets, I've come to tell you, stay with it, stay on it, and stay at it. If you are somebody who keeps going in and out of your passion for your relationship with God, and sometimes you are in it fully, and sometimes you miss the church, you miss the ministry, you miss the service opportunity, what word do I have for you today? I'm glad you asked. I have a simple word. Stay with it, stay on it, and stay at it. If you've got dreams of owning your own business and starting your own company, and some of you've been frustrated, you've written the business plan, but you've experienced challenge after challenge. Here's what I've come to tell you: stay with it, stay on it, and stay at it. I'm trying to encourage somebody today who is giving up, who is frustrated, who's trying to clean a house that won't get clean, who's trying to make goals that won't get reached. Stay with it, stay on it, and stay at it. That's all I've got for you today. I'm trying to encourage someone to keep going. Don't just start, keep going. Don't just go, keep going. Don't just begin, keep striving. Stay with it, stay on it, stay at it. Every head bowed, every eye closed, every heart praying. We love you today, God, and we honor you for all that you are and for all that you're doing. Today, God, we lift our circumstances and our situations to you. We come to you, God, confessing that some of us are frustrated, some of us are deflated, some of us are exhausted, some of us are tired. Some of us feel like, God, that change will never come. Some of us might feel like today that we can never have the changes in our life to be who we need to be in our life. But God, today I'm asking that you would push us and encourage us to do three things. Stay with it. I'm praying that you would encourage us to stay on it. I'm praying that you would encourage us to stay at it. God, if we're here today, that means that even if we've not won, if we are here today, it means that we've not been defeated. And so, God, today I'm praying that someone would be encouraged to keep on going, encouraged to keep on striving, encouraged to keep on fighting, encouraged to keep trying to get better, encouraged to keep trying to improve, encouraged to keep teaching, encouraged to keep parenting, encouraged to keep growing, encouraged to keep serving, encouraged to keep worshiping, encouraged to keep trying. God, if we are breathing today, that means we may not have the victory, but we certainly have not been defeated because we still have time. We still have another chance. We still have another opportunity. And I thank you, God, that our life today means that you haven't given up on us. And so since you haven't given up on us, don't allow us today to give up on our dreams. Don't allow us today to give up on our progress. To God, today we come praying not for just for ourselves, but we come praying for others who are on our spirit, on our heart, and in our mind. And so today we lift to you Alfreda Pushia, Andrea and Zion Edmond, Tyron Johnson and his two children, Verlie McBroom and Elizabeth Johnson, Holmes family, Jala family, Paula Malone. We lift caretakers, Dorothy Hutchinson, Joan Dennis, and Vandris Jackson. Today, God, we come praying for Aaron, Ariel, Nevin, and Natalie Jackson. We come praying for her sisters, Vanessa, Joya, Stephanie, Marie, Kenya, Felicia, Linnell, and Kristen. We come lifting up Yolanda Ellis Taylor and Annie Murphy and the Sylvain family. We come lifting Yolanda Davidson and Laureen Simmons and family. We come praying for Lakia Jones, Kelly Meadow, Michael Meadow, Brian Gordon, and Michelle Gordon. We lift right now George Green and all of his children. Janie Martin, Sam Martin Jr., Theodore Diggs, Pamela Brown, Lenarda Brown, Irene Jenkins. We lift today Nina Anderson, Angelo Blevins, Lauren Murray, Michael Jala, Vandris Jackson, Sonia Johnson Clark, Joy Treadwell, John Beatty, Ruthie Prophet, Samuel Perry, Tracy Blackwell, and James Walker. You know our prayers. You know our needs. You know our desires. Touch now, God, like you've never touched. Feel now, God, like you've never felt. And inspire like you've never inspired. And then, God, as you continue to do what you're doing, we will continue to be very careful to give you all the glory and to give you all the praise. This is our prayer. We pray it in the loving, liberating, and life-giving name of Jesus. Amen and thank God. Beloved, I want to thank you for joining us this Thursday on our check-in. Reminder that we will not be checking in Tuesday at noon because we will be at the homegoing of our worship leader's mother. It is Tuesday at noon, March 14th, 2023 at Fellowship of Faith Church International, 2553 Connolly Drive, East Point, Georgia, 30344. Now that I've put it up here, you know that if you need to know the address, you can always come to Facebook or YouTube go to our check-in and get the address from here. Also, if you're on the email list from Fellowship of Love, you know that we are emailing it as well. Now, I've got to go, beloved, but as I leave, I want to touch and agree with you. I want to touch and agree with you, Yolanda Davidson and Evelyn Ellis. I want to touch and agree with you, Michelle Gordon and Lisa Gonzalez, Natalie Jackson and Gerard Johnson. I'm touching and agreeing with you. Gloria Martin and Yolanda Ellis Taylor, I'm touching and agreeing with you. Thank you so much for keeping me on your heart. And I'm touching and agreeing with you, Natalie Walker Jackson. May God bless each and every one of you, and may God keep each and every one of you. And please remember to live in love. Bye-bye, Mama. I'll talk to you all later. I'm touching and agreeing with you, Ashanti, as well.